What's up, YouTube? I wanted to kind of go over and explain what source consciousness is. So, essentially, source consciousness is the source of, it's called source because it's the source of all creation, source of all life, source of all love. And it's what people in a third dimensional aspect, they call it God, right? And it's the same thing. There's no difference between the two. It's just a different perspective on it. So it's the essentially the center of all things. Everything of the center of creation, the center of life. It's pure light and pure potential, one essence, one soul. It's an oversoul of everything. Everything that's combined in the universe, all of consciousness, and complete unity without separation from anything that exists. So if it does exist, it's a part of source, and if it doesn't exist, well, then it cannot be a part of source because it is not something that is in existence. So how source, or the God conscious, works is, like I said, it's an oversoul of all of our souls combined, fractalized into individual souls. Those souls, which are us, our souls, incarnated, or for a better word, materialized into, from a higher dimension into the lower, more dense physical dimension to experience what it's like to be human. That's the God human connection. That's the connection we all have with God, or our source of energy, our source creator, our source of peace, our source of love, right? So essentially we are the physical manifestation of source itself. We don't perceive that when we incarnate here, because when entering this matrix, our memory of who and what we are is wiped, and essentially we tend to identify with our physical body. From the moment of birth, we're given a government name, right, which is attached to our identity, or who we think we are, right? So that's the first part of the program. Then you grow up, you start to take in everything through your five senses. I believe the ages 1 to 7 or 1 to 8 is when you're most easily programmed into what will soon be your personality or your ego, right? So everything you take in through your five senses, such as what you eat, what you drink, the TV that's placed in front of you, the music you listen to, and then as you get older, you get on psych medication, things you're taught in school, etc. All these things program, and the people you hang out with, and all the languages you pick up, these all program your personality or your ego, and then you attach all those things to you, and you say, that you're just, oh, that's how I am. This is just how I am. This is who I am. You think that you are your name and everything attached to it, forgetting that you are a source of pure potential and pure energy inside, and that will be a limiting factor in your life if you think that that's all you are, is just this glob of meat, this ego, this personality, this physical being, right? So everything in this matrix is designed to keep you distracted from your source self and keep your attention on the external world. So that's why we get programmed at such a young age. The matrix, the system is made to program us at such a young age. So you're a baby for a little bit, and then right when you start gaining some sense of being able to talk and walk, you get thrown right into school, and they teach you everything that has to do with most of all the physical dimension, language, math, history, certain events that's happened in the past, everything that will essentially implement your mind into thinking on a third dimensional level and not thinking outside the box. And they do this, it's the Matrix is designed like this, so it can keep you distracted and you never wake up to who and what you actually are, right? Now, the thing about the pureness of source consciousness is it appears on a third dimensional level. It appears in different religions: Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism. That God, there's some form or deity in each religion that kind of makes this figure form of what God is, right? Or who God is. And it's usually perceived in a third dimensional form of a man. And I think it's kind of designed this way. It's not supposed to be perceived that way, but with everybody having a closed off perception and a third dimensional perception, it's perceived as a man or some other being that once lived. So essentially you can always see the power outside yourself. So you never, it's just another distraction. So you're always looking outside yourself to gain the power instead of going within yourself, right? So it's a programmed perspective, and this ultimately results in you giving your power away rather than gaining your spiritual power and recharging yourself. It's also a control method. Religion, in a lot of cases, it's a control method to keep all of our different cultures divided rather than in unity with one another. So, for instance, like, say you're a Christian, and, you know, if you don't believe in this, and that, you're going to hell. Or if you don't believe in my God, well, your religion isn't right. That kind of thinking keeps you entrapped from expanding your consciousness. And that's essentially what we wanted to do when we came here. We wanted to expand our consciousness, and by you sticking to one thing and blocking out every other belief system or every other possibility, you are limiting yourself. You are limiting your own consciousness just to that one thing, and you will never break the box of what source or what God truly is. And the truth is, you see, all religion is based off of love and a higher way of living, right? I mean, each mainstream religion, of course, like, there's set scriptures in each book that teaches us a higher way to live. And with that being said, it kind of shows source is in all of the religions. They're all about love is the root of all the religions. They're all about a higher way of being, a higher way of living, how to sustain life here on earth. And essentially, they all lead back up to the same God, right? In a third dimensional perspective, you may perceive it as, oh, this is Jesus Christ is the only God, or whatever, Muhammad is the one and only God, or whatever. But it's just God's way of reaching out to different cultures around the planet to say, hey, this is the way to live. So that's the light of it. Now, everything in the universe at its base level is energy, and that kind of transmutes into a vibrational frequency, right? And this is a Nikola Tesla phrase, but energy, vibration, frequency. So when you think about it, the closer something or someone resonates with source, it'll appear as a form of pure love, right? So think about it like this. If everything that you're doing and saying isn't out of the pure potential for love, then you're probably not fully resonating with source consciousness. So if you can kind of look at everything you do on a day-to-day basis from a third person perspective and say and ask yourself, what am I doing this out of? Is this out of anger? Is this out of sadness? Is this out of fear? Question that and try to change that and start doing stuff out of love. And that's how you connect with your source self. So those three factors really determine at what resonance it is with source. Because see, everything in the universe is still a product of source consciousness, but it doesn't have to be in full resonance with source. It doesn't mean it's not a part of source, it still is. It's just not resonating in unity with source. So say for instance, I mean, you go out and drink one night, and let's say, like, say you're drinking vodka or something, right? Vodka has this very specific type of energy where it's kind of like an upbeat, kind of like aggressive feel to it, right? That's the and it, I mean, all alcohol really does kind of implement your ego. It puts you into your ego, more into your personality, and denses your conscious awareness. So when you think about it like that, and then you wake up the next day and you just kind of feel shittier, you're just not feeling as good at that much of a pure energy, you may be more confused about life decisions and stuff. It's because you're not in full resonance with source. You're no longer on that love frequency. You brought your frequency down to a lower frequency, depending on and you can tell that depending on how pure or how toxic your thoughts are, your thought pattern is. There's other ways to resonate with source, the pure source consciousness, and a lot of it has to do with almost living as if you were the first person on earth. There was no civilization, no society, none of that, and this is how you would have to live to purely resonate with your source self and almost kind of gain access into that source perception, so you're no longer living in the ego. For instance, eating stuff that grows out of the ground, right? If you were, say, the only person on earth and there was no civilization, you would just be eating everything that grows out of the ground, right? And of course, I mean, it's possible, yeah, you could kill animals and eat it, but that's a whole different story. Everything that's grown out of the ground is essentially, because it's another form of pure life. It's a tree is almost like reaching down at you, like an apple tree reaching down at you saying, here, I am another part of source, I provide for you, take from me. And that's another part of source consciousness, right? And not to mention, it gives you all the nutrients you need for your brain to function and for your serotonin and dopamine levels to be at more balance, so you can be at more of a peace and motivated and happy, right? Meditation is another key, because when you meditate, you are shutting off everything in the external world and going within yourself to experience the light that exists within you, the light that has always existed before you even materialized into this dimension. And that's how you gain access to source information. Another way is to sun gaze, right? Because let's face it, the sun is another form of life. It provides everything. It provides light for everything on this earth, for the plants to grow, for us to go outside. When we get sunlight, we get vitamin D, so we're more, happy throughout the day. So the sun is like another part of God saying, come outside, I will provide for you, I will give you light. And it's the one like pure light that comes up for us every day. It's always up there. So you sun gaze, and then you use that method when you meditate and go within as, okay, this is a part of me, so this is the light that is also within, right? So yeah, the sun really just stays up there, and it says, and whatever goes on the earth, the sun is a pure potential for itself, because there's good and bad that still goes on the earth, but that's for us to choose while we're down here. The sun just comes up and provides and says, you do what you want, this is your playground, your sandbox. I will just provide you this light so you can achieve and do whatever you want on a day-to-day basis. So everything is connected, and everything is a part of source. And of course, there is also yoga is another way to kind of resonate with source, because you see your body, your hands and your body are a conduit for energy. And there are certain geometric patterns that are in line, patterns and shapes that are aligned with the universe. And if you can mimic those same geometric patterns, you are essentially channeling the energy for you to be more aligned with source. So this is like a more of a natural way of connecting with source, even just being out in nature, you know, going out for a nature walk or something. You being outside, like I said, if you were the only person on earth, there was no civilization, you'd pretty much be out in nature. Shit, your house would be made out of, you know, bamboo and wood and stuff like that, not drywall and installation. It'd be made out of stuff that is from nature. So you'd be surrounded with all that stuff. And of course, trees produce oxygen and take in carbon dioxide, so they give breath. And that's why another key of why meditation is so important. The more that you breathe, the more you're going to be alive, because that is the main reason you're alive right now, is because you're able to breathe through this glob of meat. And the more oxygen you can take in, the better you can think, right? And the more clearly you can see things and have a better insight on things. So those are all really big parts of it. And see, in a lot of religions, people eat pork, a lot of, you know, dark meats, and you know, kind of live in, you know, in their own way of culture. But the thing is you can still have a connection with source even if you do those things, but you have to find a way to raise the dead, to raise the dead energy inside you. Because the thing is, when you eat meats, every 30 days your cells will replicate whatever you put in your body. So if you put dead meat in your body, your cells will replicate that, and you literally will become what you eat. That's why they say you are what you eat. If you eat things of life, things that grow off the tree, which actually produce oxygen, you will replicate life. It's that simple. So the thing is when you eat meats and stuff of that nature, you have to find a way to raise the dead. And that's why you'd have to find some other forms of raising your vibration, which would be maybe worshiping in church, or really praying out, or you know, doing certain things, you know, to kind of keep your purity, keep your pure essence, and keep your resonance with source. But see, if you do it naturally, and you're just eating off stuff out of the ground, you're naturally already going to be resonated with source. So essentially, you don't need religion to help you to have a good source self connection, a good God self connection. it says in the Bible, the truth is written in our hearts. The Bible is a book, and it will show you these things, because especially in the world we live in today, there's so many distractions. So a Bible can be very, or even any religious book can be very useful. But the truth is, the truth is written in your heart, and that's for all of us, every human being on this planet. You can find out these answers. You can go within. You don't have to look outside yourself for the answers to help you decipher what kind of decisions to make in life, and what you should do here and there, and how you should treat this person. It's all in your heart, all right? And I think we all have this want to love and be in connection with other people, and be in connection with, most of all, God or Source. That's pretty much the video. Thanks for watching.